Sarah's heart was racing. Today was Michael's birthday, and she was planning to surprise him at work. Holding the specially ordered cake in her hands, she entered through the glass doors of the office building. She walked toward the elevator to go up to the 23rd floor, where her husband's company was located. In their 12 years of marriage, she had never surprised Michael like this before. Perhaps that was why she had been feeling a distance between them in recent months. Maybe this surprise would fix everything. When the elevator doors opened, Sarah had a wide smile on her face. As she walked toward the reception desk, the security guard stopped her. He was a middle-aged man with a serious look. "Excuse me, Mum, do you have an appointment?" he asked politely but firmly. Sarah smiled slightly. "I don't need an appointment. I'm Michael Anderson's wife. I came to surprise him." The expression on the security guard's face changed at that moment. First surprise, then discomfort, then a look that was a mixture of pity. The man cleared his throat and spoke in a low voice. "Ma'am, you can't go in. I can't allow unauthorized persons to enter." Sarah frowned. "Unauthorized? I'm the man's wife. Why can't I go in?" The security guard looked uncomfortable. "Please understand, I have orders, Mr. Anderson's. Family members need special permission." Sarah was confused. Family? What did this man mean? "Fine, then call Michael. Tell him his wife is here. He'll come down right away." The security guard took a deep breath and looked Sarah in the eye. "Ma'am, don't get me wrong. Mr. Anderson's wife comes here every day. And it's definitely not you." At that moment, Sarah couldn't process what the security guard was saying. What did that mean? The world seemed to slip away from under Sarah's feet. Her hands holding the cake began to tremble. "What did you say?" she said in a hoarse voice. The man looked sad. "I'm just doing my job." "But Mrs. Anderson, I mean the real Mrs. Anderson. Comey's here every morning at 9, and they leave together at 6 in the evening. It's been like this for 3 years. I always see them together." From the moment Sarah heard the security guard's words, she struggled to stand. She dropped the cake and clutched her phone with trembling hands. She had learned that Michael was seen every day with another woman, who was also pregnant. It was as if gravity had changed, the world had tilted. The ground beneath her feet had shifted. Suddenly, she felt a heaviness in her chest. Her heart was pounding wildly. "No, no, no," she whispered to herself. But the sound suddenly stopped, caught in her throat. No sound came out. Only her trembling hands, her breathing, and her pounding heart remained. "Oh my God." Sarah stood up. She leaned against the glass door of the elevator. She saw the light falling on her face. But the light meant nothing anymore. Everything was dark. A voice inside her whispered from her throat. "What happened to you, Sarah? Were you that blind? How could you not notice anything? How could you trust him so much? If you can't trust your own husband, who can you trust?" I want to cry. I want to scream as loud as I can. I want to release the stress, the anger, the rage inside me. But would that be enough to extinguish the fires burning inside me? Her eyes filled with tears and she sniffed. It was as if this wasn't crying, but a kind of internal release, a ritual of destruction. She brought her hands to her hair and pulled it. With each pull, a piece of her heart was torn away. The anger and pain inside her collided, tearing her apart. She had never felt this way before. Her thoughts seemed to be spiraling out of control. She had trusted Michael, Emily, even her own instincts. What had she missed for 3 years? Why hadn't she noticed? A scene played out before her eyes. Every moment Michael had been with Emily. Every smile, every touch. And Sarah's moments of knowing nothing, noticing nothing. In that moment, she felt her own life was like a stage set. She saw herself as a puppet. Suddenly, she stood up. She began walking down the corridors. The sound of her footsteps echoed in the empty office. "What happened to you, Sarah?" she whispered to herself. But there was no answer, only the sound of her footsteps. With each step, she sank deeper. She decided to go outside. She left the cake and the phone behind. She slowly descended the stairs. It was raining outside. At first, she thought it was a coincidence. But then she realized that the rain reflected her feelings. Each drop was like a reflection of the pieces breaking off from her heart. Sarah began walking in the rain. At that moment, suddenly, the scream inside her stopped. It was as if all the anger and pain had converged at a single point. Only a silent void remained. In that void, the whole world stopped. People were walking, cars were passing by, but for Sarah, time had stopped. She sat down on a bench. Her hands were still trembling. She stayed like that for a while. She didn't think about anything. She was only aware of the rain and the emptiness in her heart. After a while, she noticed the messages coming in on her phone. It was a message from Jennifer. "Sarah, please call me. We need to talk. Right away." Sarah read the message, waited a few seconds. Then she wrote, "You can come now, but be prepared everything's a mess." Jennifer's eyes filled with tears. "But you're a strong woman. You can get through this. Everyone who knows you knows that." Jennifer tried to calm her friend down, but Sarah wasn't listening. She was just sitting there in the rain, in the midst of her own destruction. When Sarah returned home that night, the weight of the past had settled on her shoulders. Loneliness, betrayal, anger, and pain were all there at once, and Sarah realized once again, nothing would ever be the same again. Sarah's legs wouldn't hold her. She collapsed onto one of the reception's waiting chairs. She left the cake beside her. Her hand trembling, she took out her phone and called Michael. 1, 2, 3 rings. Finally, he answered. "Sarah, what's wrong? Is something wrong?" Michael's voice sounded more tense than usual. "I'm at work," Sarah said, her voice cracking. "I came to surprise you, but the security guard won't let me in. He says you have another wife." "Michael, what does that mean?" There was a long silence. That silence told Sarah more than 1,000 words ever could. Finally, Michael spoke, his voice barely above a whisper. "Sarah, please leave. Come home, let's talk, no." Sarah's voice rose. Everyone at the reception turned to look at her, but she didn't care. "We're going to talk now. Who is that woman, Michael? Who is the woman who has been coming and going with you every day for 3 years? Michael took a deep breath. Okay, I'm coming down. Wait 5 minutes, please don't leave." The phone hung up. Sarah sat there with the phone in her hand. 5 minutes felt like 5 hours. 1,000 thoughts raced through her mind. 3 years. How could this be? Had Michael had another life for 3 years? When the elevator doors opened, Michael stepped out. Beside him was a tall, red-haired, elegant woman. She was pregnant. Very obviously pregnant. At least 7 months along. Sarah's world completely shattered. She stood up, her legs barely supporting her. Michael came towards her, but the woman grabbed his arm. "Michael, who is this?" the woman said, her voice sharp and cold. Michael seemed caught between the two women. "Emily, please go upstairs. I'll handle this, Emily." So the woman's name was Emily. Emily protested. "No, I'm staying here." "Who is this woman, Michael? Why is she acting like your wife?" Sarah laughed, but there was pain in her voice. "Acting like your wife? I am his wife. We've been married for 12 years. Who are you?" Emily's face turned pale. She turned to Michael. "What is this woman saying?" Michael put his hand to his forehead. "Emily, please calm down. It's not good for the baby. Double quotes, not good for the baby." Sarah screamed. "I guess nobody cares about who I am. Was our 12-year marriage, our whole life, a lie, Michael?" The security guard intervened. "Please calm down. You can't make noise here. Either leave or I'll call the police." Sarah looked at him. There was pity in the man's eyes. The security guard added, "Ma'am, believe me, It's in your best interest to leave. This man isn't worth your time." Sarah took a deep breath. Tears streamed down her cheeks, but she tried to steady her voice. She looked at Michael. "I want answers. All of them. You'll be home tonight and you'll tell me. Everything, everything." Michael shook his head. "Okay, but Sarah, things aren't what you think. They're not." Sarah looked at him with a bitter smile. "Is there a man in front of me who has a pregnant mistress and is living a double life? What else could it be?" Emily stepped forward. "Did you call me a mistress? I'm Michael's fiancée. We've been together for 3 years and are planning to get married." Sarah froze. "Fiancée?" She looked at Michael. "Michael, then what's that ring on your finger? The ring you wore when you married me?" Michael was silent. Emily looked at him too, then at his finger. He was indeed wearing a ring. "Michael," Emily said, her voice trembling. Are you married?" Michael stood there between the two women. He couldn't speak. Sarah smiled, but it was a painful smile. "It seems you've deceived us both, dear Michael. Emily lied to you too, but yours is worse because you're pregnant and carrying his child." Emily's eyes filled with tears. She touched her belly. "Michael, tell me everything now," she shouted. Michael finally spoke. Okay, I'll tell you everything, but not here. Emily, please go upstairs. Sarah, you come home too. I'll fix everything, I promise." Sarah shook her head. "Fix it? How are you going to fix 12 years of lies, 3 years of cheating? A pregnant mistress, Michael. I can't wait to see that." Sarah turned and walked out of the building. She had forgotten the cake. She left it there. Her car was in the parking lot, but she didn't go to it. She started walking. She was crying, but she was still in shock. How could this be? 12 years. For 12 years, she had believed he was faithful to her. She had never doubted him, not once. When Michael came home late, he said he was busy at work. When he had to work on weekends, he said it was because of important projects. Sarah always believed him. She always supported him. A message came to her phone from Michael. "Please come home. We need to talk. I'll explain everything." Sarah deleted the message. She kept walking. Her cell phone rang again. This time it was her mother calling. She didn't answer. How could she? What would she say to her mother? "Mom, my husband is with another woman, and she's pregnant." She was passing in front of a park. She went inside and sat down on a bench. She looked around. Children were playing, couples were walking, elderly people were sitting. Normal people, people with normal lives. Sarah's life had been shattered in an instant. She looked at her phone again. This time, there was a message from her best friend Jennifer. "Can we meet today? I need to talk to you. It's urgent." Sarah texted Jennifer. "What time works for you?" Jennifer replied immediately. "Now, where are you?" "I'm coming over." Sarah sent her the park's address. 20 minutes later, Jennifer arrived. As soon as she saw Sarah, her expression changed. "Sarah, what happened to you? You've been crying." Sarah told her everything, every detail. The security guard, Emily, the pregnancy, the 3 years, everything. Jennifer was shocked. This is impossible, Michael. He was such a decent, loving man. Apparently it was all a lie, Sarah said bitterly. Jennifer hugged her. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Sarah, I wish I could have told you to double quote." Sarah pulled away from her friend. "Told me what? What do you mean?" Jennifer lowered her head. I knew. Not exactly, but I knew something was going on. Sarah froze. "What did you say?" Jennifer looked at her through tears. "Last month I saw Michael with a woman. They were at the mall. They seemed very close. The woman was pregnant. Michael was acting very affectionate toward her. I wanted to tell you first, but I wasn't sure. I thought maybe she was his sister, maybe his cousin. Then I saw them again at a restaurant. They were kissing." Sarah looked at her friend in disbelief. "You knew?" And you didn't tell me? What do you think you were doing, keeping something like this from me? You were my closest friend. Jennifer was crying. I was scared, Sarah. I thought if I told you, you wouldn't believe me. Or maybe I was wrong. Then I wanted to meet you today to tell you. But you found out first. Sarah stood up. Did everyone know? Did everyone else know but me? Jennifer stood up too. No, Sarah, only I saw it. I didn't tell anyone, I swear. Sarah shook her head. It doesn't matter anymore. Let everyone know. I don't care anymore. She started walking away. Jennifer called after her. Sarah, wait. Where are you going? Sarah turned around. Home to get my answers. This man will explain everything to me, and then he'll be erased from my life. As Sarah walked toward home, memories of Michael came to her mind. It was emotional. After all, her husband of 12 years had done such a terrible, disgusting thing. Sarah walked toward home with tears in her eyes. People shouldn't end up in such a situation. Everyone should be faithful to their spouse. Why do people ruin their lives for a momentary whim? When she arrived home, Michael's car was there. When she opened the door, Michael was sitting in the living room. His head was in his hands. He stood up when he saw Sarah. Sarah, thank you for coming back. Please sit down. Let's talk. Sarah threw her bag on the couch and looked at him. There's nothing to talk about. I just want answers. Since when? How did it start? And why? Michael sat down. Sarah stood facing him, not sitting down. Michael began to speak. 3 years ago, we started working with a consulting firm for the company. Emily was a partner in that firm. We worked together constantly. Meetings, business dinners, projects. As time went on, we grew closer. Sarah laughed bitterly. Grew closer. That's a very polite way of saying cheating. Michael continued. I love you, Sarah. I always have. But something had changed between us. We weren't the same anymore. You were focused on your career, I was focused on mine. We came home tired in the evenings, we just slept. We didn't talk like we used to. Emily listened to me. She understood, did she? Sarah's voice was sharp and cold. Didn't I understand you? Wasn't I the one who was there for you during every difficult moment for 12 years? When you lost your job, when your father died, when your career was in trouble, wasn't I the one who was there for you? Michael lifted his head, his eyes filled with tears. You're right. You did all that. But that period was such a confusing time for me. Something developed between Emily and me, and I couldn't control it. You couldn't control it. Sarah shouted. You couldn't control your marriage, your wedding ring, your vows. You couldn't control lying every day for 3 years. Michael stood up. I know. I made a mistake. A big mistake. But she's also a victim in this situation. Emily didn't know I was married when she came to me. I told her I was single. Sarah couldn't believe it. So you lied to her too. You lied to that pregnant woman? You built her life on lies too. Michael cried silently. At a certain point, I couldn't turn back. I couldn't tell you. I would have ruined everything. I couldn't tell Emily either. I would have lost her. I had to live a double life. Sarah approached him. Did you have to? No one forced you, Michael. You chose it. You chose to have breakfast with me every morning, have lunch with Emily, and tell the same lie to both of us. Michael shook his head. You're right. It's all my fault. But please listen to me. I never wanted to leave you. What happened with Emily? That was just an escape, a mistake. But you are my real life. Sarah smiled. But it sent a chill down Michael's spine. Your real life. What is the real life of a man who has been living their double life for 3 years and is now preparing to become a father? Which one of us is real, Michael? Me or your pregnant fiancé? After Sarah asked that question, a silence fell over the room. Time seemed to hang in the air. Sarah's breath caught in her throat. Her chest felt tight. Yes, answer me. She finally shouted. Which one of us is real? She could only whisper, I don't know. That single word stabbed Sarah's heart like a knife. You don't know. Then you don't know who you are either, Michael. The man I knew is long dead. Sarah turned around and left the room. She slammed the door. The silence in the hallway echoed throughout the house. Her feet didn't know where they were taking her. She just wanted to get away. She stopped in the kitchen. She leaned against the sink, trying to breathe. Tears were flowing uncontrollably. To love something. He looked out the window. It had started raining. Suddenly, his eye caught the knife on the counter. He reached out his hand but then pulled it back. No, he said to himself. But the voice inside him wouldn't stop. What if you're the one at fault? What if you've ignored it for years, refused to listen? What if the love you speak of is nothing but habit? He covered his ears with his hands and shouted, Enough. His breathing quickened. He couldn't sleep all night. Michael was in the next room. Sarah didn't even want to feel his presence. The phone rang repeatedly. It was Jennifer calling, but she didn't answer. At one point, she looked in the mirror. She didn't recognize the woman standing there. Her eyes were dark circles, her lips were pale. Who are you? She asked her reflection. Are you a spouse, a victim, or just a fool? The mirror didn't answer, but her reflection seemed to look down on her. The next morning, an email arrived on his phone. When he saw who it was from, his heart tightened again. Emily. Subject line, I need to write to you too. Sarah stared at the screen for a few seconds. Then she opened it. Sarah, I'm sorry about what happened yesterday. You have a right to know the truth. Michael told me that you two had separated years ago and were only legally married. I thought he was trying to protect you. I am pregnant, yes, but I never wanted to take your place. Still, I want you to know that if you don't believe me, you're right. Because I don't believe him anymore either. After reading the email, Sarah sat motionless for a while. Her hands were trembling. She slowly shut down the computer, then looked out the window. The sky was grey. It was as if the whole city was mourning her. There was a terrible situation, a terrible man, and the story of two poor women who had been deceived. Days passed. Sarah didn't go to work, didn't talk to anyone. She just walked to the park in the mornings, to the beach in the evenings. With each step, something inside her faded away. Sometimes she thought she heard Michael's voice. Sarah, please forgive me. But when she turned around, there was no one there, only his own echo. One morning, Jennifer came to the door. She had coffee in her hand and worrying on her face. Sarah, I was worried about you. I've been looking for you for days. Sarah silently opened the door and invited her in. The house was in disarray. Jennifer looked around, then turned to her friend. Don't do this. You're destroying yourself. Sarah laughed bitterly. I'm already done for, Jennifer. Only my body doesn't realize it. Jennifer's eyes filled with tears. You have to forget Michael. Forget him? Sarah whispered. How can someone forget someone they've buried half their life with, without even going to their grave? That night, Sarah made her decision. She opened her closet and took out an old box. Inside the box were wedding photos, a wedding invitation, and seashells from their honeymoon. She examined each one carefully. Then she placed them all inside the fireplace. She took a lighter. As the flames rose, there was a sparkle in Sarah's eyes. It wasn't pain, it was acceptance. Accepting the end. But just then, a small note fell out from among the burning photographs. It was Michael's handwriting. If you ever stop believing in me, listen to this tape. You'll find the truth there. Sarah looked around in astonishment. A tape. It must be somewhere in the house. She searched the drawers and cabinets. Finally, she found an old cassette player, along with a small cassette. There was only one word written on the tape. Sorry. Sarah played the tape. Michael's voice filled the room. If you're listening to this, everything has come out. When I found out Emily was pregnant, I wanted to run away. but not from her, from you. Because I knew I couldn't lie to you. I was so afraid of losing you that in the end, I lost you." Sarah closed her eyes. Michael's voice was trembling. "I betrayed you. But I didn't just betray a woman, I betrayed myself too. If you're listening to this, I want you to know that Emily is carrying my child, yes. But my heart, it still belongs to you." The tape cut off with a crackle here. Sarah froze where she sat. Tears were streaming down her eyes. But she wasn't crying anymore, they were just flowing silently. When morning came, there was a knock at the door. There was a courier at the door. He had an envelope in his hand. Michael's name was on it. "Mrs. Anderson, this is for you." Sarah opened the envelope. Inside were court documents, a divorce petition. Michael had signed it. There was a short note underneath. "I don't expect you to forgive me, but I want to give you back your freedom." Sarah stared at the paper for a long time. Then she picked up the pen. She hesitated for a moment. Then she signed her name. At that moment, an era ended. A woman died, but another was born. Sarah opened the balcony door. The cold morning air hit her face. The city's noise came from afar. She took a deep breath. "I'm done," she said quietly. But that sentence carried another meaning within it. "I'm starting over." A few days later, Michael came to Sarah's house with the signed divorce papers in his hand. Filled with regret, "Sarah, I can't do this without you. Can't we fix this?" she said, falling to her knees and crying. But Sarah stood silently with her head held high, looking down at the man crying, at her feet with a mixture of pity and disgust on her face. Then Michael fell silent and continued to look painfully at Sarah's face. Michael couldn't say anything. Sarah continued. "Emily said today that you're engaged. Is that true?" Michael bowed his head. "I proposed 6 months ago. When I found out she was pregnant, it was the right thing to do, the right thing." Sarah screamed. "You proposed to another woman while you were already married. That's what you call the right thing?" Michael couldn't say anything. Sarah couldn't even bear to look at him anymore. "Get out of my house now," Michael protested. "Sarah, please, we can fix this. We can go to therapy. I'll leave Emily. Leave Emily." Sarah yelled. "That woman is pregnant. She's carrying your child. You can't leave her. Even if you do, that child will be yours and your bond with it will last forever." Michael was crying. "I love you, Sarah. Please give me another chance." Sarah looked him in the eyes. "You never loved me, Michael. If you did, you wouldn't have done this. Love requires loyalty. Love requires honesty. You did neither. Now get out of my house, or I'm calling the police." Michael slowly walked toward the door. He stopped at the threshold and turned around. "Sarah, I'm really sorry. I wish I could take it back." Sarah didn't even look at him. "I wish I hadn't married you either. Now go." Michael closed the door and left. As soon as it closed, Sarah collapsed to the floor and began sobbing uncontrollably. The next day, Sarah hired a lawyer. She went to the first divorce lawyer that came up when she searched his name on Google. The woman seemed experienced. "Ms. Anderson, I'm listening to your situation," said the lawyer. "Ms. Rodriguez," Sarah told her everything. The lawyer took notes. "I understand. I'm very sorry for what happened to you. But I have good news for you. In a situation like this, if there is proof of infidelity, you can easily win the divorce case." Sarah asked, "Evidence? Isn't the pregnant mistress enough evidence?" The lawyer smiled. "Of course it's enough, but more evidence is better. Messages, photos, witnesses. These increase the amount of compensation," Sarah thought. "Witnesses. Could the security guard be a witness? He sees them together every day." The lawyer took notes. "Excellent. We can get his statement. Any other witnesses?" Sarah thought of Jennifer. "My best friend saw them kissing. She can testify too." The lawyer looked pleased. "Great, we'll definitely win this case. Now, let's talk about your assets. Do you have any joint assets?" Sarah nodded. The house is ours. We have a joint loan, but I paid most of it. The cars belong to both of us. We have savings, about $100,000. The lawyer took notes. In divorce cases, joint property is usually divided equally. But in cases of infidelity, it can be in your favor. If you paid for most of the house, bring proof. Bank statements, payment receipts, everything matters. Sarah understood. Okay, I'll bring it all. Also, do I have to pay child support for Emily's child? The lawyer shook her head. No, that child is not yours. You don't pay child support for her, but Michael will. And that won't affect your settlement. Sarah relaxed. How long will this process take? The lawyer thought. A few months for an uncontested divorce. But if the defendant objects, it could take a year. Will Michael object? Sarah shrugged. I don't know. I don't think so. It came out that he was leading a double life. He wouldn't dare object. The lawyer smiled. I hope so. Because if we present this evidence in court, his reputation will be ruined. He could suffer damage in his professional life too. Sarah hadn't thought of that. So this lawsuit could damage his career too. The lawyer nodded. Of course, especially if he works for a corporate company. Such a scandal would damage the company's image. The company could fire him. Sarah felt a sense of satisfaction inside. But then she thought, if Michael became unemployed, it would be difficult for him to pay alimony. But what if he can't pay alimony? She asked. The lawyer explained. Alimony is determined by a court order. If he doesn't pay, legal sanctions will be applied. His salary could be garnished. He could even face jail time. But don't worry, these types of men usually pay. They want to protect their image. Sarah thanked the lawyer and returned home. When she got home, her phone rang. It was Michael calling. She didn't answer. She sent a message, talk to my lawyer from now on. Don't contact me again. Michael replied, Sarah, please, we need to talk. It's over with Emily. I want to come back to you. Sarah, read the message and deleted it. She didn't reply. A few minutes later, another message arrived. I left her. I'll take care of the baby, but I won't be with her. I choose you. Sarah, please give me another chance. Sarah replied, you didn't choose me, Michael. I left you. That's the difference. And no, you don't stand a chance. I'm giving you my lawyer's number. Get in touch with him. She sent the lawyer's number and blocked Michael. He wouldn't be able to receive any more messages from her, but he didn't feel relieved. Because everything in the house reminded him of her. The photos on the walls, the furniture, the belongings, everything. She looked at the photos. Wedding photos, vacation photos, anniversaries. It was all a lie. Sarah took down the photo frames on the wall one by one. She threw them all in the trash. Then she started gathering Michael's belongings. His clothes, shoes, books, everything. She stuffed them all into large trash bags. 6 bags were filled. She put them all in the garage. The phone rang. This time it was Emily calling. Sarah was surprised. How did she find her number? But she was curious and answered. Held. Emily's voice sounded tearful. Sarah, it's Emily. Please don't hang up. I need to talk to you. Sarah took a deep breath. I'm listening. Emily spoke. I'm sorry. I didn't know you were married. I swear I didn't know. He told me he was single, that he had no family. He lied. Sarah spoke bitterly. Yes, he lied. He lied to both of us. But what do you want from me now? Emily continued. Michael came today. He told me to break up with him. He said he wanted to be with you. But I want him back. Sarah, my child is his child. I want him to be the father. Sarah couldn't believe it. You want him back. You want a man who lied to you for years, who deceived you, who played games with you. Emily was crying. I love him. And my baby needs a father. Please, Sarah, let him go. Let him be with me. Sarah laughed. I already let him go. I filed for divorce. But if you take him back, that's your stupidity. Just know this, Emily, if he cheated on you for 3 years, he'll cheat on you again. Emily cried silently. Sarah continued. You're pregnant, vulnerable, and fragile. He's using that. Now he wants to come back to you because he has no other choice. I kicked him out, but if he finds another woman tomorrow, he'll leave you too. Know that. Emily said nothing. Sarah added, now I'm sorry, but I'm going to block you. Don't call again, and she hung up. The following days were very difficult for Sarah. She went through the motions, but inside she felt empty. She went to work, attended meetings, wrote reports, but her mind was always in the same place. How could Michael have done this? 3 years. How could he have kept up such a lie for 3 long years? Her co-workers looked at her strangely. The expression on her face gave everything away, but no one dared to ask any questions. Jennifer called during lunch break. Sarah, how are you? I'm worried about you. Sarah looked at her phone, hesitated, but finally answered. I'm fine. Or trying to be. Jennifer's voice sounded concerned. Should we meet today? You shouldn't be alone. Sarah wanted to object, but then changed her mind. Okay, let's meet at that Italian restaurant at 7 tonight. That evening, Jennifer was waiting for her at the restaurant. As soon as Sarah sat down at the table, Jennifer took her hand. It's so hard to see you like this. You were always so strong, so energetic. Sarah tried to smile but couldn't. Was I strong? Or was I just blind? How strong can a woman be who didn't realize her husband had been with another woman for 3 years? Jennifer shook her head. No, it's not your fault. Michael hid it well. He was a professional liar. It turns out, the waiter came and took their orders. Sarah didn't want to eat anything, but Jennifer insisted. You have to eat. You have to take care of yourself. You owe it to him. Sarah looked at her. Myself. I've forgotten how to live for myself. While they ate, Jennifer spoke. How's the divorce proceeding going? Sarah raised her wine glass to her lips. The lawyer says everything is going smoothly. The court date is in 3 weeks. It will be an amicable divorce because Michael isn't contesting it. In fact, his lawyer is accepting all the demands. Jennifer was surprised. Really, so his conscience isn't clear? Sarah laughed bitterly. His conscience. If that man had a conscience, he wouldn't have lived a double life for 3 years. No, he's just afraid of scandal. He's accepting everything so his image at the company won't be damaged, Jennifer thought. Maybe you're right, but at least he's giving you what you're entitled to. Sarah shook her head. Money doesn't solve everything. No amount of money can ease the pain of 12 years of marriage going down the drain. After dinner, Sarah returned home. The house was very quiet. After packing up Michael's things, the house seemed even emptier. She turned on the TV but couldn't watch it. She tried to read a book but couldn't concentrate. Everything reminded her of Michael. They used to watch movies together on this couch. They used to have breakfast together at that table. In the bedroom. Sarah didn't even want to think about it. The phone rang. It was an unknown number. She answered. Held. The voice sounded familiar, but who was it exactly? Sarah. It's David, Michael's brother. Sarah was surprised. She hadn't seen David in years. Michael's estranged brother. David, how did you find me? David's voice sounded sad. Michael told me everything. I wanted to talk to you. I wanted to apologize. Sarah frowned. Why are you apologizing? You're not the one who made a mistake. David took a deep breath. I knew, Sarah. I found out 6 months ago. I saw Michael with Emily. I confronted him. But he told me everything was under control. That he'd take care of it soon. I knew I should have told you, but Sarah froze. You knew too. You knew for 6 months and didn't tell me? David's voice was broken. I'm so sorry. I can't forgive myself. He's my brother, but that's no excuse. I should have told you. That's why I'm calling you now. I'll testify in your favor in court. I'll tell them everything." Sarah didn't say anything for a moment. Then she took a deep breath. "Thank you, David, but it's too late now. Apparently, everyone already knew. Only I didn't know," David protested. "No, Sarah, not everyone knew. Only me and your friend Jennifer saw it. No one else knew. And believe me, we both regret not telling you." Sarah was about to hang up, but David continued. "There's one more thing. Sarah, I talked to Emily. She wants to apologize to you too. But she doesn't have the courage to call you. She wants you to know this. Michael left her too. He said he'd take care of the baby, but he made it clear he wouldn't be with her. Emily is alone now and pregnant." Sarah felt conflicted upon hearing this. Even though Emily had wronged her, she was also a victim. Tell Emily I'm not angry with her. She was deceived too. But also tell her to stay away from a man like Michael. She should get child support but not let him into her life. David seemed relieved. "Thank you, Sarah, you're a very good person. Michael didn't deserve you." After hanging up, Sarah thought long and hard. Everyone was apologizing, but that didn't change the past. She lay down on the bed and stared at the ceiling. Tomorrow would be a new day. And with each new day, she would get a little more used to a life without Michael. Maybe one day she would truly heal. Maybe one day she would be able to laugh again. But not today. Today, she just wanted to cry. The next morning, on her way to work, her boss Mark called her into his office. Sarah felt anxious. Was she going to lose her job? The stress was starting to affect her work performance. When she entered Mark's office, he was smiling. "Sarah, please sit down. I want to talk to you." Sarah sat down, her hands trembling. Mark continued. "I heard what happened to you. I'm so sorry. No one should have to go through something like that." Sarah was surprised. "How did you hear?" Mark explained. "We have a business partnership with the company Michael works for. Their HR department reported the situation to ours. Standard procedure, you understand." Sarah felt embarrassed. "So the whole business world knew." "I understand. I won't let it affect my work. I promise." Mark raised his hand. "Sarah, I didn't call you in to scold you. Quite the opposite. I want to support you. If you want, you can take a few weeks off. Paid leave. Take time for yourself, get better." Sarah's eyes welled up. "Really? But there are projects, clients. Double quotes." Mark smiled. "Projects can wait. Clients will understand. Take care of yourself first. Are you okay?" Sarah nodded. "I'm okay. Or trying to be. But I think some time off would really help." "Thank you, Mark." After taking the leave, Sarah didn't know what to do. She had spent years for Michael. She had supported his career, built their home, shaped her dreams around him. Now she couldn't even remember who she was. She opened her phone and looked at old photos. Photos from before she met Michael. She was younger, happier. There was a sparkle in her eyes. She was young, a young woman with dreams with the man she loved. In those photos, she was dancing. Dancing. Sarah hadn't danced in years. Michael didn't like dancing. Sarah had given it up for him. Now she started looking into dance studios. One was very close to her home. She called immediately and signed up. Salsa lessons. Every Thursday evening. She was very nervous when she went to her first class. It was the first time in years she was doing something for herself. The studio looked warm and inviting. When she entered, there was a group of 15 people. They all looked like beginners. The teacher, Maria, a young and energetic woman, welcomed everyone. "Today we'll learn the basic steps. Don't worry, everyone is new. Mistakes are completely normal," Maria said with a smile. The music started and Sarah took her first step. She stumbled, lost her balance and laughed. And in that laugh was something she hadn't felt in 12 years, freedom. When the class ended, Sarah was sweaty but happy. Maria came over to her. "How was your first class?" Sarah smiled. "Great, I haven't felt this good in years." Maria nodded in agreement. Dance is therapeutic. When you free your body, your spirit is freed too. On her way home, Sarah felt different. Maybe life could go on after Michael. Maybe this could be a new beginning. When she arrived at her apartment building, she saw someone waiting for her. It was Michael. Her heart raced, but this time it was out of anger, not fear. "What do you want here?" she asked harshly. Michael walked towards her. "Sarah, we need to talk." "I don't want to talk through lawyers." Sarah took out her keys. "We have nothing to talk about. Everything will be settled in court." Michael grabbed her arm. "Please, 5 minutes. Just 5 minutes." Sarah pulled her arm away. "Let go of my arm. And no, I won't give you even 5 seconds. You stole every day, every minute of my life for 3 years. You won't get another second from me." Michael's eyes filled with tears. "I still love you. I made a mistake. I know. But we can save us." Sarah looked at him pityingly. "Us? There is no us anymore, Michael. Us died 3 years ago. You killed it. The day you were with Emily for the first time, that day us died. All that was left was a woman who was the victim of your lies. But that woman is gone too. Because I'm changing. I'm finding myself again." Michael was stunned. "What do you mean?" Sarah smiled. "Something you couldn't possibly understand. For years, I tried to be the person you wanted me to be. I changed for you. I gave things up for you. But now I'm living for myself. And you know what? I haven't felt this happy in years." Michael's face changed. "Is there someone else?" Sarah laughed. "That's the only thing you can understand, isn't it?" "No, Michael, there's no one else. There's only me. And for the first time. That's enough for me." She went inside and slammed the door in Michael's face. 3 weeks passed very quickly. The day of the trial arrived. Sarah wore a black dress, put her hair up in a bun, and went to court. Her lawyer, Ms. Rodriguez, greeted her. "Are you ready?" Sarah nodded. "I've never been more ready in my life." They entered the courtroom. Michael was there with his lawyer. He wanted to stand up when he saw Sarah, but his lawyer stopped him. The judge entered and everyone stood up. She was a middle-aged woman with a serious look. "Please be seated. We will now begin the Anderson divorce case." The hearing lasted less than an hour. Michael didn't object. He accepted everything. The house went to Sarah. The savings were divided equally. Alimony was set. Everything went in Sarah's favor. Sarah relaxed when the judge delivered the final verdict. With this ruling, the marriage of Sarah Anderson and Michael Anderson is dissolved. Court is adjourned. When they stepped outside, Michael approached her. "Sarah, Sarah raised her hand. "No, you have nothing to say. We're going our separate ways now. I hope you'll be a good father to Emily and the child. But you're done with me." She turned and walked away with her lawyer. Ms. Rodriguez looked at her. "How do you feel?" Sarah took a deep breath. "Free for the first time in years. I truly feel free." The lawyer smiled. "This is a new beginning. Sarah, the rest is up to you." That evening, Jennifer and David threw a small celebration for Sarah. The 3 of them ate dinner together, drank wine and laughed. Jennifer raised her glass. "To Sarah, to the strongest woman. To an amazing person who managed to stay strong despite everything. Who found the courage to reinvent herself." David also raised his glass. "And to new beginnings. Sarah, I'm lucky to know you. I'll be angry with Michael forever for what he did. But know this, you deserve so much better." Sarah looked at them, her eyes full of tears. "Thank you. You both mean so much to me. If you hadn't been by my side during this process, I don't know what I would have done." After dinner, Sarah returned home. She now felt like the house was truly hers. There was no trace of Michael left. She had bought new curtains, new pillows, new decorations. Everything was new. Everything belonged to her. She looked in the mirror and recognized herself. The sparkle in her eyes had returned. The phone rang. It was an unknown number, but this time she wasn't afraid. She answered. Held. The voice on the other end was female, familiar. Sarah. It's Emily, please don't hang up. Sarah was surprised but listened. I'm listening. Emily spoke, her voice trembling. I wanted to thank you. David told me everything. What you said about Michael. You were right. He left me too. Now I'm alone, and my baby is due soon. Sarah softened. My condolences, Emily. I know it's a difficult situation, but you're strong. You can do it. Emily cried. I don't know. I'm scared. I don't know how to do it, Sarah thought. Despite the pain inside her, she could understand the other person. Emily, I'll tell you something. Do what I did. Believe in yourself. Yes, it's hard. Yes, it's scary. But you're not alone. You have your baby, and he will give you strength. Plus, Michael will pay child support. You won't have financial difficulties. Emily's voice relaxed a little. You're not really mad at me? After all, I did your husband ... double quotes Sarah interrupted. No, Emily, you didn't know. He lied to you too. We were both victims. But not anymore. We're both free now. And believe me, freedom is so much more valuable. Emily thanked her and hung up. Sarah went to the window and looked outside. The city lights were shining. She used to dream while looking at this view with Michael. The future, children, a happy home. But now she had different dreams. Things she could do on her own, places she could see, the person she could be. The following week, Maria made an announcement in dance class. We're putting on a show next month. Who wants to participate? Sarah hesitated, but then raised her hand. Maria smiled. Great, Sarah. I'm proud of you. While preparing for the show, Sarah discovered herself. She learned to control her body, feel the music, express herself. After each rehearsal, she felt a little stronger. That energy, that passion, that life she had suppressed for years was coming back. When the night of the show arrived, Sarah was nervous but ready. She waited backstage with the other dancers. Maria came over to her. How are you? Nervous. Sarah smiled. Very, but it's a good kind of nervous, exciting. When it was her turn, she stepped onto the stage. The lights turned on her, the music began. And Sarah danced. With every step, every turn, every movement, she let herself go a little more. She forgot Michael, the pain, the betrayal, everything. Only that moment existed. Only the music existed. Only she existed. When the dance ended, she heard applause. The audience was on their feet. Sarah's eyes filled with tears of joy. Jennifer and David were sitting in the front row. Both were applauding with tears in their eyes. In a corner of the stage, there was someone else. A handsome man she didn't recognize. He was smiling at her. After the show, Sarah went down to the audience section. Jennifer hugged her. You were incredible. You were amazing. David congratulated her too. I'm so proud of you. Sarah, this is just the beginning. Sarah thanked him and saw the stranger. He was approaching. Hi, I'm Nathan. Your performance was wonderful, he said, extending his hand. Sarah shook his hand. Thank you, Sarah, Nathan smiled. I know, Maria is my niece. She talks about you a lot. She saw you dance for the first time and recognized your potential. Sarah was surprised. Really? Wow, Maria is a great teacher, Nathan nodded. She is, and you're a great student. By the way, would you like to grab coffee sometime? We could talk about dancing. Sarah hesitated. She was newly divorced. Was she ready for this? But then she thought, why not? Nathan seemed nice. And it was just coffee. Okay, said Sarah. Why not? Nathan's eyes lit up. Great. Is tomorrow afternoon okay? Sarah smiled. Sure. The next day, over coffee, Sarah felt at ease. Nathan was an interesting person. He worked as an architect, had traveled the world, seen many things. As he told his stories, Sarah found herself drawn into his world. It had been a long time since she'd had such a sincere conversation. "So what's your story?" Nathan asked. Sarah took a deep breath. "It's a complicated story. The short version, I was married, my husband cheated on me. I just got divorced." Nathan looked understanding. "I'm sorry. That must have been hard." Sarah shrugged. "It was, but not anymore. That's just a part of my story now, and I'm writing new chapters." Nathan smiled. "That's a great perspective. Looking to the future instead of getting stuck in the past." Sarah raised her glass. "Exactly. And my future looks much brighter." They talked for hours. Coffee turned into dinner. Sarah was happy as she headed home. Maybe life wasn't just about Michael. Maybe there was so much more. Months passed. Sarah built a new life. Her dance classes continued regularly. Her friendship with Nathan grew. She got a promotion at work. Everything was going well. One day, she received a message from Michael. She hadn't heard from him in a long time. She opened the message. "Sarah, I hope you're well. I wanted to tell you something. Emily had a baby boy. We named him Ryan. I'm a father now, and I understand everything better. I understand how sorry I am for what I did to you. I hope one day you'll forgive me." Sarah read the message and deleted it. She didn't reply. Michael was in the past now. That chapter was closed. She turned off her phone and looked outside. It was a sunny day. She and Nathan were going on a picnic. A new day, a new adventure. While getting ready, she looked in the mirror. The woman reflected back was strong, free, and happy. She had been through a lot in the past, but those things no longer defined her. She was no longer Sarah Anderson. She was just Sarah, and that was enough. The doorbell rang. Nathan must have arrived. When she opened the door, the man was smiling, holding flowers. "Are you ready?" Sarah smiled. "Yes, I'm very ready," and they went out together. Towards the sun, new beginnings, endless possibilities. Sarah's story had begun with a painful betrayal, but it continued with a powerful transformation. Michael had hurt her, broken her, forced her to live a life built on lies. But Sarah had emerged stronger from that pain. She had found herself again, rebuilt her life, rediscovered happiness. And perhaps most importantly, she had learned to love herself. She had learned to live for herself, not for others. Betrayal had given her the greatest pain, but it had also given her the greatest gift, freedom. And with this freedom, Sarah was soaring. Have you ever experienced such betrayal in your life? Or has it happened to someone you know? What course of action should be taken in such situations? If you are affected by such stories and want to share similar real-life experiences, don't forget to comment, because sometimes the greatest strength comes from sharing our stories and learning from each other's experiences.